Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday as we are a little, well, not quite halfway through our Passion Week here, our Passion Week at Devo's. But before I want to get started, I wanted to kind of just tell you something that's going to happen tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow is the Passover day. It's the day that Jesus took the bread and he took the cup and he gave it and he blessed it and he gave it to his disciples. It's also the day that he washed the disciples' feet. It's the day that he went to the Garden of Gethsemane and prayed. There's a lot of things that happened tomorrow. So instead of making it all one giant video, it's going to be kind of just broken up a little bit. So I'll post the times tomorrow of when those are all going to drop. So that way you kind of just stay up on those. So just so you know, there's going to be a couple more tomorrow. But that's because there's a lot that happened on that day. So with that being said, it's Wednesday. And as we continue this journey of the Passion Week, and as we come to Wednesday, it's actually known as Silent Wednesday because the author of the Gospels seemed to not record anything on this day. Of course, lots of stuff was going on in Jerusalem. It was anything but silent or quiet as there was so much stuff going on. The city had to be in just this hustle and bustle as they were getting ready for this massive festival to take place the next day. It was anything but quiet. And while the people were getting ready, the religious leaders, see, they were plotting to kill Jesus. In Mark chapter 14, it says it was now 2 days before Passover, so it was actually on Tuesday this happened. But the feast before the Passover and the feast of the unleavened bread, and the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to arrest him by stealth and kill him. For they said, not during the feast, lest there be an uproar from the people. It is also believed during this time that Satan would enter Judas. In Luke 22, it says this, and then Satan entered into Judas, called Iscariot, who was one of the 12. He went away and conferred with the chief priests and officers how he might betray him to them. And they were glad and agreed to give him money. So he consented and sought an opportunity to betray him to them in the absence of a crowd. And so obviously this underlying thing is happening, right? They're trying to stay under the radar. But Jesus was probably teaching in the temple at this time. And something much more sinister was happening, obviously, here under the radar. People met to plan and to capture and to kill Jesus. They met in the silence, in the shadows, before the festival of Passover, which was the festival that the Israelites would go to celebrate, to remember the time that God rescued them from that captivity as they were in Egypt. That God sent this angel of death into Egypt. And into the dark, shadowy night, silence fell over that city. And as the angel would approach different houses, those who were covered by the blood of the lamb that was sacrificed, the angel would pass over. And that night did not remain silent, though, as many Egyptians woke up screaming because their loved ones were gone. Yet those who were covered by the blood of the Lamb were saved. It's a picture of the blood that would be shed on the cross in just 2 days' time. Knowing what was waiting for Jesus at the end of the journey, I don't know if I would have wanted to be around a whole lot of people on this Wednesday. I would have wanted to be with my closest friends and family. And even though they did not understand what was about to take place, I would have wanted to spend time with them. And allow me, if you will, to imagine what happened on this Wednesday. As there's no story to be told of what happened on Wednesday before the perfect lamb would be slaughtered. He would have still gone to the temple to teach and to preach for the final time, begging and pleading with them to repent and put their faith in God, the one who sent him. And maybe by the end, Jesus just wanted to call it a day and go back and rest, as the next 2 days are going to be long. Or maybe he felt like, or maybe he left like he often did and went into the wilderness to just have a few more minutes with God. This father, his father, and this father, his father, that would eventually not even be able to look at his son. Maybe Jesus needed a few more minutes with his Father. Whatever Wednesday entailed, the authors did not seem it was that important to record. Yet I really wonder what Jesus was going through and was thinking as the next day his closest friends would all scatter away from him as one would betray him, and he'd be left alone in the hands of his enemy. Maybe he laughed a little bit this day. Maybe he was really quiet. Maybe he was on edge knowing what was to come. But the pages in our Bible may be silent, but I bet you anything that Jesus was anything but silent on that day. His mind was racing as he was nearing the end. Maybe he was just preparing himself. We'll never know this side of heaven, but I look forward to asking to Jesus what happened on that silent Wednesday. And today I ask you to take some time to begin to prepare your heart, because the next couple of days were easily the roughest days of Jesus' life that would eventually end. And so today I ask you to take some time to be silent before the Lord, listening, not speaking, but listening. Draw near to the Lord and prepare your hearts for what is coming next. As Friday draws near, the shadow begins to overtake the days. We have so much to cover on Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow, and know that you are